Hello, I'm gonna be reviewing some movies that I've rewatched recently. I'm gonna try to rewatch all these movies and in these franchises, but it's just gonna take me a while because I'm always busy, and so I don't really have a chance to watch things like in a row. So I'm just trying to like break it up a little bit so it don't come monotonous and all that. So the first one I want to be reviewing is The Collector, which came out in 2009 and is directed by Marcus Dunstan. Yeah. The Collector was originally supposed to be a prequel to the Saw franchise, but for some reason they ditched that and made it its own standalone movie, which I don't mind, cause to be honest, I prefer this movie out of all the Saw movies. But anyways, so the movie is about a guy named Arkin who is who is working at on his house installing security uh equipment in this house, and he comes back and to visit his kid. It's never like specified like what's going on with his wife and him. I'm guessing they're just separated, but you could tell like they have some issues. And she said, well, he gets the daughter a little teddy bear, and the wife like just gives him a dirty look. And then she's like, do you have the money? And he's like, yeah, I got half of it, like you said. She's like, no, I can't have half of it, I need all of it. And she said, or they're gonna come after me. And you find out that she's been getting money from loan sharks, and I guess she hasn't paid him back yet, and if she don't pay him back, they're gonna do something to her. So he says, okay, I'll get you the money. He said, I'll talk to him and I'll get you the money. He's like, I got an idea. So he goes to meet up with like the head loan shark, I don't know the proper term, and he starts haggling with him, and he says, Arkin's like, I'll pay you, he's like, you give me 50% and I'll give you what you want. He's like, the loan shark's like, no, I'll give you 40%. And they start arguing, and then he says, and the loan shark said, I'll give you 40%, and you gotta get this deal done by 12 o'clock a.m., midnight. And Arkin's like, okay, I'll do that. So Arkin goes back to the house where he was installing security equipment earlier, and you find out that he's a burglar, and he knows how to pick locks, and of course he picks the lock and breaks into this house. He breaks in, and then after that, the movie gets crazy. He gets in the house, and he's trying to steal whatever is in the lock. What is it called? Damn, the vault. I'm trying to remember the proper term for it, but you don't find out until a little bit later that it's actually a jewel, and I think it's like a ruby maybe or something. That's what it looked like. It's some kind of stone, and but once he's in there, he hears someone else go into the house, and he thinks, oh, maybe it's someone that lives there. So he starts hiding, and then he hears screaming, a woman screaming, and he goes, oh no, something's messed up. And then you find out that a psychopath broke into the house and is uh, holding the family hostage and trying to, kill him. There's more to it. The reason why the villain's called the Collector is because, I'm sorry about the video. He, he kills everybody, but he keeps one person, and he puts them in this box, and he supposedly has this collection of his human a specimen or whatever, but it goes deeper in the second movie, which I have to watch it because I haven't seen it in a long time, and I wasn't really a fan when I first saw it. So, but I'm going to try to rewatch it and review that one too. Excuse me. One thing I do like about this movie, I love the concept of the movie. I love the story, cause you know, this is where Arkin kind of starts off as the antagonist of the movie, and then he has to turn around and become the hero. And that's kind of rare in movies. You don't really see stuff like that. I think the only movie I can think of recently is Don't Breathe, which kind of has like the same concept. You know, a bunch of people bust into a house and then they become the victims and then they gotta escape and you gotta root for them to get out the house. Basically, that's what happens in this movie. But it's different, obviously. So, I like that concept, and it was the first time I ever seen it done in a movie. And I mean, they probably did it in some other movies beforehand that I just didn't know about. But yeah, I love that concept. I liked the suspense in it because Arkin, no one knows that Arkin's in the house. Like the family doesn't know, the collector doesn't know, so he has to be quiet, and he's like running around the house. It's kind of like some scenes kind of running like a Scooby Doo, like when they're running, like go in the one door, then they go in another door, and then like the monster is chasing after them. It's kind of like that, but it's done. It's not goofy. It's done very well. And he got to be really quiet and like run around the house and make sure this guy don't find him. He gets injured, like he's trying to find ways to break out the house. And there's like the windows have like boards on them, and but there's like little spaces in the boards. I'm sorry, I don't know why the video keeps stopping like that. But there's like these little boards in the window, or little holes in the boards in the window, and he's trying to like break through to break the glass. But then the collector puts like razor blades in the middle, and like Arkin gets his hand caught, and he has to like pull it out, but he can't scream, he can't do anything. He has to be dead quiet. Like it's very painful, but it's like I thought it set up some great suspense in the movie, like stuff like that. Also, Arkin's like running around trying to save the family members and stuff, and like every inch of the house is booby trapped. And I was just thinking, like, I know a lot of people said it's like Kevin McAllister from Home Alone if he grew up, but like these are like all death traps. Like every inch of the house has a booby trap in it. Yeah, and some of their deaths too are pretty fucked up. There's one where a guy gets burned, and like you don't know how that happened because he just falls into the room, and I think that's the first time a family member sees Arkin in the house. And then then one guy, or then I forgot what happened to the mom, but the daughter, like there's like a teenage daughter, she's like out doing stuff, and then she comes back home, and then her and her boyfriend are like fooling around. But she was like the collector, or the boyfriend, like there's like this barbed wire thing, or not barbed wire, it's like tripwire, and like the collector set like a bunch of bear traps down, and the guy like falls back and gets all his limbs like chopped off and stuff from the bear traps. The one girl, she gets chained up to the staircase, and like barbed wire, but Arkham comes down and tries to help her, and she starts freaking out, and he goes, "No, it's not me, I'm not the killer." and like she just runs off and she trips on something and she like flies across the room and like goes into like this projector screen and she gets stabbed to death. I think there was like knives like on the other end and she gets stabbed to death. Um, the dad gets tortured and then damn, what happened to the mom? Something happened to the mom. Damn, and I saw this movie not that long ago. Um, yeah, and then I don't want to give too much away, but that's like some of the like deaths in the movie, like fucked up deaths. But there's also this one scene where like there's a bedroom and it's filled with like acid all over the floor and Arkin's like walking through it, but then like his shoes get stuck to the floor. So and like it starts melting like his shoes to the floor. So he has to like untie his shoes and stuff. And it's like a sad fucked up scene where like there's a cat stuck to the floor, like melting to the floor, and it's like going like that, being loud. And Arkin's like, shut the fuck up, because you don't want the collector to, hear and like get suspicious to come up there. So like he picks the cat up and he throws the cat to the window, and then the window comes down and chops the cat in half. And I was like, oh my god, that's fucked up. There's some fucked up scenes with animals in this movie. Then there's a scene where he finds the little girl, like he breaks out. I know I'm giving too much away now, but he finds the little girl and he breaks out the house, but then he finds the little girl like peering out the window, and she's like calling for help because she was the only one hiding from the collector, and like the mom said, you gotta find my daughter, she's in there and stuff. So Arkin like sees her and he goes back into the house and he finds her, and there's like a crazy scene like with the laundry chute and like them two, Arkin and the girl in the bathroom. I thought that scene was really intense, but there's one scene where like they go into a room and he tells you don't know what the plan is, but he tells her just do what I say. So she's like on top of a dresser and she's like has a hold of the TV, and then Arkin has a fish tank, and like the collector comes in, and the plan is like Arkin pushes the fish tank over onto the floor, and then the little girl pushes the TV onto the floor, to electrocute him. But then the collector throws one of his victims that he was keeping in a box. He threw him onto the floor and like kind of. He's like, haha, I knew what your plan was all along. That scene was pretty cool. And then there was a scene in the bathroom where they're hiding. They're like going up a laundry chute. They're like going up a laundry chute because the collector goes and gets a dog, the German Shepherd, outside, and he brings it in to go chase them and stuff. And then Arkin and the girl climb up like the laundry chute into the bathroom, and then like the dog's like trying to come through, is like running up the stairs and stuff. So like Arkin like lights some trash, like a trash can. There's like some trash in a trash can on fire, and he opens the door and the dog comes in and he pulls it in and goes, he throws the trash can, like he swoops it down and it hits the dog in the face, and I was like, god damn. And like he goes out and just throws the dog's corpse like on the collector. I'm like, god damn, man. Like, yeah, if you're an animal lover, I love animals too, but I'm like, god, I like don't you you probably don't want to watch this movie. I didn't remember those two scenes from the movie. Like, I remember some of the human deaths and stuff, but not that. And then, like, Arkin gets caught by the collector, but they both get into a big fight, and then I thought the ending was kind of dragged out. Like, they could have ended it, like, right there, but then, like, they had to have this whole scene where Arkin gets chased in the ambulance and all that, and I thought it was unnecessary, but, it kind of leaves the movie open-ended because then you find out that Arkin is caught and he's put in one of the boxes, and Arkin screaming at the Collector, he's like, I'm gonna kill you, I'm gonna beat your ass, and this and that, and then the movie ends, and then you find out, like, what happens in the collection. But yeah, I would if you like violent, gory movies, I would highly recommend this one. Um, like I said, I haven't seen it in a long time, but I still think it holds up pretty well. I liked, the storyline, the suspense in it, the gory scenes and all that. So yeah, it's definitely one I would highly recommend. Oh yeah, and I forgot to mention like how the Collector looked. Like you see the back of his head on this. I thought, but when you see the front of it, like his eyes and stuff is really creepy. Like they're like pitch black, but they kind of look like cat's eyes, like like in the dark when you see a cat's eyes, it like starts glowing. That's what it looks like. He looks very creepy. He kind of reminds me of damn, what's that character from Nightbreed? David Cronenberg's character from Nightbreed, like when he wears that mask. That's what he kind of looks like to me. But anyways, that's my review.